Let the moving art speak to your heart. More information at allmyrelationsarts.org.
You work hard for every cent you make. You have bills and you have goals. Choose a bank that's going to support you along the way. That's Fair Financial Banking. No overdraft fees, no minimum balance. No credit score required. Call 651-262-2173 to talk to a Fair Financial enroller to open your account today. Keep more of your money. That's fair. Fairfinancial.org. FAIR is a program of Prepare Plus Prosper, a nonprofit organization, and is not a bank. Banking services are provided by Sunrise Banks N.A., member FDIC.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Hazy tonight with a low of 60, then Wednesday sunshine with a high of 78. Fill the hot summer nights with the hottest music in the Twin Cities at Crooner Supper Club in Fridley. Crooners is located just north of I-694 off Highway 65. View their schedules and food menus at croonersloungemn.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hitting cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Ade. Listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. We discuss local and national Native news and events, and as you know, Haley, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
You're absolutely right, Dega, and this portion of the show is supported by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Yes, what a great organization, and they've been with us for so long. Hey, just got to throw this out there, Haley. A great job the last couple days working in the office here as I'm playing around at the fair. I really, really appreciate it, and you've done a great job. And so proud to be related to you, and also having you as Native Roots Radio producer. So great job. I just want to give you a quick shout out.
Oh, Pinagigi, thank you. Yeah, I'm very glad to be your Honi Hey, your Hotung family. Really proud to be your niece, and proud to just want to say Pinagigi to you for giving me the opportunity here. So
yeah, it's kind of fun, right? Hey, I can say whatever I want, and then the mothership, like Patrick or Brett, could just cut us off and go to commercial if we say the wrong thing.
Exactly. Yeah, and shout out to Pat too. I forgot to do this yesterday, but shout out to Pat for stopping by Sunday out at the fair, stopping by the Native Roots Trading Post booth out in the West End Market. It's always fun to see what everyone looks like. We're always just so familiar hearing each other's voices on the radio and through the phone and whatnot. So always great to put a face to the voice. So shout out to you, Pat.
Yeah, really awesome. It was great to see Patrick. And we have to get Brett out there yet still, though. But Patrick's come a couple of years in a row. It was great to see him. Hopefully he's walking around with a Sage Against the Machine shirt, or I can't remember what shirt he got, but it was awesome to see him. And hey, I just got to give a shout out too to my Weha, which means second child, who's managing the store, and he knew who's working with her sister, twin sister, and son-in-law out at the Native Roots Trading Post at the State Fair. And as you can see, today I am at home. I was working today, and then Wendy and I are going to run out to the fair right after the show. We can go see Brandy Carlisle because we're crazy.
Well, Brandy Carlisle, I mean, she was doing half of the openings with Pink for her summer carnival tour. And she, I'm sure that's why. I don't know if she was booked for the State Fair before, but that's why they had, or Pink had Pat Benatar open up for her here when she was out here a couple weeks ago. And it looks like Brandy's tagging along just a few weeks after. So it should be a good show.
Right. And I guess Winona Judd is opening up for her. And
oh, wow.
That's awesome. And so, I guess I'm not a big country person, but, she's pretty mainstreamed and has been doing great work. We're going to have Nathan Wright on and talking about a documentary coming up here. And Nathan is our Michigan person that we like to talk to, water protector Line 5. And so we're excited to talk to him. And then Wendy's got a Native American, excuse me, a sacred animal section coming up today. So, we're really happy to be here. And Haley, again, it was fun, very fun. I got to see after the show Misco at the International Market Square. So if any of you are listening to us at the fair, which I always listen to the station when I'm listening to specifically AM 950, I'm listening on the app. So I go everywhere. I go on my walks and listen in the morning to Stephanie Miller and Tom Hartman and of course Matt McNeil. We love Matt, and Matt is just a powerhouse here on AM 950, and then we're out and about on Civic Media Radio too, and give a shout out to those guys at Devil Radio and all the great people in Wisconsin that are fighting the good fight, which is really really positive thing to do when it comes to all the stations that Civic Media Radio have in Wisconsin now, and we happen to be blessed on being on 18 other stations too. So, just a big shout out to them too, Haley. It's fun. I just got to say this again. It's really fun. Not only seeing Patrick, who we worked with, and got to see Ogama. So those people that remember Ogama, she was out there working with Ampers, volunteering, and it was really good to see her. Also, I had 3 or 4 people come up to the store, buy stuff, and then also take a selfie. So I felt like a little celebrity there, Haley.
Well, yeah. I mean, you are the Robert Pilot and you are the selfie king. So that's kind of your thing.
Yeah.
I feel like you're known for that.
Yeah. I used to be really the selfie king before I got that other job that I have right now. So it's trying not to do as many selfies and be kind of low key out there in the hood. But I love taking pictures of things that are happening native wise wherever I am. And Native American Heritage Day at the fair was pretty awesome. I got to take a lot of pictures, and also I got to see at the end of the show yesterday, I was walking up to the International Market Square, and like I said, if you guys are listening to this on your radio or on online and you're at the fair, go up to see the native dancers at the International Market Square up there. Misco, who was on yesterday, who is such a sweet person, and it's just great to know this young warrior who's keeping traditions alive, and she'll be up there dancing with the famous Mr. Yazi, and he's been at the fair for 20 years straight. And something significant about that, Haley, too, is that usually, and I've known people that play at the fair in that market space, and they never play a year back to back. So they might play a year and 2 years, come back, but the Native American dancers have been playing 20 straight years without a break, and it's been I guess they really like them at the fair because Mr. Yazi really talks about our culture, and we talked about the fact that these aren't costumes, that they're us, they're part of our
Right.
culture, and who we are, and every bead it has a prayer in it, and I hear that from the beaters.
Yes, and what they do that one bead to it. They put a bead where it's not supposed to go. I forget. I think there's
Right.
a word for it, but just to prove that, as artists, as Indigenous artists, that they're not perfect and that nobody's perfect and that even the art that we make isn't perfect. So really beautiful. A lot of the regalia, any of what you see the dancers wearing, all of that is handmade by those dancers or with the help of those of their relatives or friends. So really a lot of work and time goes into making the regalia. So and I
Well,
think
that's
it
a
really
really good point. Let me just jump in and say this, Haley. That's a really good point about beading. When you're looking for authentic beading, there is a mistake made in there on purpose, whether it's a prayer or to show the imperfection, like you said, but also to show that it isn't made in China on a
right.
machine.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. So yeah,
So that's great.
Misko's great. So I believe she had a dance today at 3. I'm not sure whether or not she was dancing a couple other days this week, but definitely get out there and make sure you see that. It always our dancers always draw a large crowd. So
Yeah, it's like 3, 4, 5, and 6 or something like that, 3:45, but I got there at 6:15 and they were just wrapping it up, so, right now they're definitely going full bore, and I didn't get a chance to get up there and dance and go, "Ho-wah," and raise my hand in a good way and point towards, Father Sky and Mother Earth, which I like to do when I dance.
right, right. We just can't have you breaking your hip out there, Dega, though. So
Yeah, easy. Yeah, right, or even straining it.
yeah, or I should say choka, not Dega. No, just
Oh,
kidding.
there you go. Oh, wow. That means grandpa. She just called me grandpa, and I don't
I
know if that
did.
was a good thing. Oh, wow. Hey, up next, Nathan Wright checking in on what's happening as a water protector of up there in Lake Superior and keeping our Mother Earth and Father Sky and our water clean and just giving us an update. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm here with Haley, and we're just chilling out and trying to be chill. We'll be right back after this short break.
Stay with us.
I heard sex trafficking happens a lot in Indian country. What is that?
Here are some of the real reasons why sex trafficking happens in Indian country. Unequal gender roles that were forced on us by colonization. Communities don't have enough resources. Silence around domestic and sexual violence. Lack of attention and justice for missing and murdered Indigenous people. There's a lot of behavior that keeps our communities out of balance. These are just a few true reasons why Native communities are targeted by traffickers. When these acts of violence happen in our communities, it opens us all up for exploitation.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Upfront Minnesota is the state's largest LGBTQ plus advocacy organization, and they're celebrating our state's accomplishments protecting our LGBTQ plus neighbors. This is especially important as surrounding states are passing legislation targeting our trans community. But here in Minnesota, we made it clear, you belong here. Minnesota's LGBTQ plus rights have taken a significant step forward with the conversion therapy ban and the trans refuge bill, helping reshape the national discourse. The trailblazers who once championed same-sex marriage a decade ago continue propelling Minnesota towards an even brighter future. To celebrate these accomplishments, Outfront Minnesota is hosting their annual gala, where we bring in together more than 700 guests at Allianz Field on Thursday, September 14th. The event celebrates a year of legislative wins while honoring diverse communities, propelling Minnesota forward into next year. Again, that's Thursday, September 14th at Allianz Field with a dinner at 6 and party at 8. So come celebrate Minnesota's progress on LGBTQ plus rights and order your tickets at outfront.org.
J&S Bean Factory is a Native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Nocti's Four Sisters Farmers Market, which happens every Thursday on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis from 11 to 3.
Hey, really excited to have Nathan Wright on, and I feel like you're our correspondent out there east of us here, and really good to see you. Hey, Nathan, I was looking at your bio. You're a veteran too?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, wow. Well, hey, really honored to have you on. A good one. I didn't realize that, Nathan, and it also says you're a father and a herbalist, and I said herbalist. Oh boy, herbalist and forager, and I saw you're a veteran too, and a business owner, and really carrying our ways in a good way. So it's always really a pleasure to have you on, but also really big pleasure that I just realized you were a veteran. You've probably said that, but I just realized that. Thank you so much for being on.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for having me. I'm always welcome to be here and share with you all what's happening back here in Michigan. And certainly there's a lot of things that we have, not only being Anishinaabe, but just to be able to have that connection and maintain that connection on the things that are happening in between us and all around us.
Absolutely. Thanks again. Hey, you got some updates for us, and I know one of the things that we talked about a little bit earlier, I did not know about, and I'm wondering if you can let our audience know what's coming up on September 15th.
Sure. So there's a documentary that was made last year by a couple of a couple filmmakers. It was basically told the story about how two paddleboard boardists went across Lake Michigan, eventually down to Lansing, which you could travel by waterway, and then went to Lansing. And along the way, they are checking the water for clarity. They're doing interviews with indigenous people and alike to talk about the importance of the water. And it's basically, use this whole ideal of these two young men traveling and checking the environment along the way and talking to people to tell the story about why our waters need to be protected. So this was filmed last year, and they finally have it done. And the film producers just notified me today that they are going to be having their event down in Traverse City on September 15th. That will be the opening of that. And I clicked away, and I hope you can still hear me. So Troubled Water, the premiere, is.
We kind of lost you,
Can you still hear me okay?
Not really. You're a little scratchy, and we just lost you here. It's making funny sacred noises. Oh, wow. Hey, so we lost Nathan for a minute there.
It's all right.
But,
He'll be back. But yeah, so we got a documentary that he's in.
Can you hear
So
me?
that's coming out soon.
yeah, we can hear you, Nathan. It's just I think when you switch over and overpower your phone that you're on, that
Right.
all of a sudden you sound like you're from Star Nation. You're one of our alien.
Yep. Okay. Sorry
hosts.
about that. So it's good. The movie's going to premiere Troubled Water. It's a documentary. It's going to premiere in Traverse City on September 15th. It's on a Friday. They're going to have like a dinner and stuff. But if you Google Troubled Water, I'm sure it'll come up. If not, I will put it on the Mackinac Ode website. That's what I'll do. MACKINAWODE. I will put it on our Facebook page, information about that documentary. I think it's important that if you're a water protector or anybody that's interested in what is happening with our waters and the importance of it, that you watch this documentary. These guys did a great job. I met the filmmakers, wonderful people, environmentalists on the right path, and they certainly gave indigenous people, allowed them their voice to speak their own message, and they were very respectful in that area. Wonderful people.
Awesome. That's great to hear, and that's wonderful. Hey, there's Waters Life gatherings happening all over up where you're at. Can you talk a little bit about what's happening up there too?
Sure. So, as many of you know, we have the Water is Life Festival. This is something that's put on by another group that's separate from Mackinac Day. Janan Cornstalk heads this up, but it's a yearly event that she is doing, and then you have other people. Other different organizations that are involved. And I'm just going to give you a kind of a gist of what is happening. So a lot of you already that are water protectors are coming up from Minnesota. You have already heard about this, but in a nutshell, on Friday, September 1st, they're having a feast from 5 to 9 at Little Traverse Bay Band Government Building. Bring a dish to pass or a snack to pass if you can. On the September 2nd, that's the Water is Life Festival. It used to be in Mackinac City, but they moved it down here to Petoskey, and that's going to be at the Festival Park near the Breakwall in Petoskey, Michigan. That'll be on Saturday, pretty much all day. Live music, a very fun event. I'm sure a lot of people that come will enjoy that. Sunday, which is September 3rd, will be an art build and potluck from 10:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Potluck will be from 4:30 to 6:30. Bring a dish to pass if you can. That will be held at the Bliss Gardens Farm, which is up in Harbor Springs. That's probably about 40 minutes north of Petoskey. So there's going to be several art build projects going on, silk screens, buttons, different things like that, also at that event. Now, Monday, this is why most of you are coming. Every year here in Michigan, they do what's called the Bridge Walk. So on Monday the 4th, they're doing a shutdown Line 5 Bridge Walk. So that will go till noon in St. Ignace, which is the north side of the bridge. And it'll also happen in Mackinac City. So the Bridge Walk meetup will start at 5 a.m. St. Ignace side. And they'll shut down the bridge, I think, till noon. And then there's just a lot of activities that are happening around during that time. They're adding more, but that'll just give you a gist of what's happening. And for anyone that's interested in finding a camp space, there's the Lost Tamarack, which is you should be able to find it online. They are providing, it's not too far from me actually. They are providing their festival grounds for campers to come camp at in a pretty safe environment. If you're having difficulty finding a place to stay, bring a tent and they will be happy to provide for you. So this whole event with the series of many people, not only in Minnesota, Wisconsin, here in Michigan, everyone collaborating together to put something like this together to raise awareness for shutting down Line 5 and Line 3.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We have our little banner going on our Facebook and YouTube live here. So just a call to action, what we can do to demand stopping Line 5 right now. Please call the White House. That number is 202-456-1111. And then again, 202-456-1111. Demand stopping Line 5. Call the White House, please.
Exactly. Hey, any last words there, Nathan? Any good words you want to leave us with?
I think there's always good words. There's an event happening up in Whitefish Island on the treaty rights up there. For anyone that might be in the area, that's up in Sault Ste. Marie. Lots of tribal leaders who have up there. They've done a lot with standing up for treaty rights, and a lot of those leaders will be there. So if you're going to be in the area around September 15th, try to make it to that festival. There's also a powwow, I believe, that's happening this weekend too, up there on Whitefish Island, for those of you that are interested in that. I'm going to be downstate at a herbalist gathering in the Great Lakes Herb Fair right around September 9th and 10th. And I just want to thank everyone that's worked so hard with protecting our waters and our environment, and our fight will never end. But I appreciate all of your efforts and your continued work and to raise awareness, especially what you're doing here with Native Roots. It's really an honor to be here and to be able to share this message.
Awesome. Hey, one more thing about September 15th before we let you go.
The Huron-Robinson Treaty thing?
No, I think the documentary I was talking about.
Oh, the documentary. Oh, yes, the documentary. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, isn't there?
Yeah.
Know that other than it's going to be really good, the guys that did it, Davis, he's an amazing cinematographer. I mean, his camera work and everything is great. And the two guys, they're two younger guys that he worked with that, they kind of tell it from maybe their generation perspective, kind of a younger generation perspective, but they intertwine it from the footage that I've seen of it. They have us in our G-Mons, traveling in our canoes. They did a drone of us. They let us speak our words about treaty rights and everything. I haven't seen the whole thing, but the footage that I've seen them do is amazing. And it tells a great story that I think every water protector and anyone that cares about the environment would really appreciate seeing. And that's down in Traverse City. And I will put the link on Mackinac Day.
Right on. Hey, Nathan, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for stopping in with this quick update. We love having you on. And again, thank you for your service. I really appreciate you being on.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Right on. Hey, you're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and we'll be right back after this short break. Hey, please stay with us. Oh, wow.
Be a vaccinative. It's time to come together and talk about the urgent need to stay up to date on COVID-19 vaccinations to protect our heritage, our loved ones, and our future. Throughout history, we have always faced challenges, and today we must protect our culture and loved ones. This is our opportunity to ensure that our tribal gatherings once again resound with joy and celebration, where the echoes of our ancestors guide our steps. It's a chance to care for our elders, cherishing their wisdom and stories for generations to come. COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective. Let us unite, resilient as ever, and show the world the strength of the Native American community. Together, we shape a future where our traditions thrive, our children learn from our ancestors, and our people flourish once more. So be a vaccinative and learn more about staying up to date with your COVID vaccinations at health.state.mn.us. That's health.state.mn.us. This message is brought to you in partnership with the Minnesota Department of Health.
Minnesotans age 65 plus might qualify for Health Partners Minnesota Senior Health Options. The plan includes personal support, coverage for medical, prescription drugs, and dental, plus over 30 extra benefits. Eligibility information is available at healthpartners.com/oneplan. Health Partners is a health plan that contracts with both Medicare and the Minnesota Medical Assistance Medicaid program to provide benefits of both programs to enrollees. Enrollment in Health Partners depends on contract renewal.
Attention art enthusiasts, experience Laura Youngbird's Indie Wisigindum, My Heart Hurts, a solo exhibition by Laura Youngbird presented by All My Relations Arts this summer. All My Relations Arts aims to foster connections between contemporary American Indian artists, preceding generations, diverse audiences, and the vitality of the American Indian cultural corridor. Laura Youngbird is a talented artist from the Minnesota Chippewa Grand Portage Band that uses the dress as a metaphor to address social issues, injustices, and biases. Through mixed media combining drawing, painting, and prints, Laura explores the dress as a powerful symbol in her work, revealing layers of meaning. Her series examines mixed emotions and themes like common threads, loose ends, and vulnerability. And you could see Laura Youngbird's Inde Wisigindum, My Heart Hurts, all summer through September 9th at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis. Plan your visit and let the moving art speak to your heart. More information at allmyrelationsarts.org.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States.
And 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected.
Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf.
Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy.
As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired.
Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
Affordable, healthy, and culturally appropriate food is accessible right in the heart of the American Indian Cultural Corridor at Four Sisters Farmers Market. They embrace inclusivity and accessibility at Four Sisters, accepting SNAP and EBT benefits, market bucks, Gus Produce market bucks, cash, and cards. So enjoy the abundance of fresh food regardless of your payment method at Four Sisters Farmers Market. Open Thursdays until October from 11 to 3 at 1414 East Franklin Avenue. More at nacd.org and tell them Native Roots Radio sent you.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Hazy tonight with a low of 60, then Wednesday sunshine with a high of 78.
Warner Stellian delivers appliance savings on a stick you won't find anywhere else. Earn a bonus for each additional appliance you buy for up to $1,000 back. Plus, pay no interest for 2 years. Shop smart with the specialists at Warner Stellian.
This is Leonard Peltier. I am in Coleman 1, U.S. Penitentiary, and I'm listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by the Native American Community Clinic on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis, honoring health and tradition.
Yes, they do. Hey, there's so much going on, but I don't know if you mentioned this when you were hosting the show, but Indigenous history is one of the new requirements in Minnesota classrooms. So that's kind of pretty interesting. That's a new bill, and that's really exciting that that's happening now here in Minnesota. our history has been left out for so many years and so many generations. Uh, that's just unbelievable, Haley.
Yeah, I know. And actually, I didn't get around to talking to this yet. Really wanted to save this for you. Just being an educator and working at Harding High School for all of those years, really wanted to get your take on this. So I guess, yeah, growing up all throughout my time in elementary school, junior high, high school, it's Indigenous education wasn't something that was really ever talked about. Really, even during Thanksgiving or lessons on Christopher Columbus, really wasn't something that we even talked about back then. And I think it's kind of a coincidence, but the elementary school I went to was actually called Columbus. Um,
Wow.
yeah. And I remember too, probably being in, I want to say second or third grade, the school pulled me out of class once and tried to um, build or have me build a friendship with another kid who had just moved to that area and just began going to school there with us. But we were the only two Native American kids in the school. So I
Wow.
don't know, just, that's my representation and what I grew up with in the classroom. Indigenous teachings wasn't ever talked about. So I'm really happy to hear that this is going to be a new requirement in classrooms. Just goes to show with how our government, our state government, is able to do all of these really great things and pass all of these great laws with the help of the tribal nations. And I
Yeah.
really just shout out to Peggy and all of our Indigenous state representatives that are,
Lawmakers.
yeah, exactly, for making us be seen and letting our
Right.
voices be heard in the state. So yeah, and NPR News actually did a really great article on this. So this was August 16th by Kathy Werzer and Gracie Stockton. Indigenous history is one of the newest requirements in Minnesota classrooms. So some important wording tucked into a section of the bill, again, probably, I'm sure that was Kunish's doing or Keeler, I'm sure one of our Indigenous lawmakers. But so important wording tucked into a section of a bill passed last spring by Minnesota legislator describes a new requirement for classrooms across the state in one simple sentence. So this is all that was written in the bill, and they just tucked it in there. It says this sentence: Indigenous education for all students. That was
Mhm.
it. So this new requirement includes that Minnesota teachers renewing their K through 12 license must receive professional development in the cultural heritage and contemporary contributions of American Indians, with particular emphasis on the Minnesota tribal nations.
Mhm.
So,
Well, let
people,
me just say this, I'm 62 years old, so in 1978, I say this a lot, but when it comes to, well, I was born in the '60s, so the racist TV shows like F Troop and all these shows, and especially the movies that, John Ford movies that were supposed of like classic, Westerns, but showed our Native Americans, one, as a Pan-American Pan-natives because of what they were wearing, and, in these movies, they were wearing headbands to keep their wigs on. The white people keep their wigs on, and that's not the way it was or is. So there's a lot of history out there that hasn't been taught, but I just want to say, like, I'm 62 years old, so in 1978, when I was a junior, is when we could practice our own religion, and just think of that. People supposedly came and conquered this country to and stole it from the Native Americans to uh, leave religious persecution. And so it's just a bizarre kind of truth and justice for some, not for all. And it's amazing. And I not only Haley, while you were speaking about giving the shout outs to our native lawmakers and lieutenant governor, these things probably wouldn't have come up if they weren't in office, one. And two, I want to give a shout out to all our white and BIPOC allies out there that voted for this too.
absolutely. Yeah, because it takes all of us. Again, just knowing our native population, I mean, it's so small in the state of Minnesota compared to our other communities. Um, but yeah, it takes everyone, and we're just really grateful that we do have representation in the state.
Hey, let me just bring up another thing too that I'm really excited about is that, Apple's original film announces October 20th as a new worldwide release date for The Killers of the Flower Moon. And I'm totally excited because I'm a big film buff. I taught film and video and television in high school. And so I've always been a big film buff, but it's, Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, who just turned 80, and we got Uli Gladstone, who is a Native American that's playing in the movie. And, it's about the Killers of the Flower Moon and the Osage natives that, you know, by a struck of luck became one of the richest groups in the country at the time when they struck oil. And then the fun began. There was, well, if you read the book, this is based on the book, and the book's pretty crazy because of what happened to, they couldn't drive, the people had to drive them, and people infiltrated their families, and next thing you know, people were dying out of nowhere. So that's I'm excited to see that movie come out, and a great director, you know, is going to tell the story, and so I'm totally excited to watch that movie.
Yeah, me too. Again, just rock star cast as well. I mean, and a lot of those actors, like you said, Leonardo DiCaprio, um, Robert De Niro. I feel like any role that they have, they always try to portray it in the most accurate, truthful way. So I'm really excited to see how this comes together and how they're able to tell everyone the story of Osage Nation and what happened back then.
Yeah, and it says based on the book, because the book it's not a fiction book; it's a nonfiction book of really what happened. So it'll be interesting how they portray a lot of the things that went down. But still, totally stoked to Haley. Really excited. Can't wait till this movie comes out. And yeah, I'm just really excited about it.
Absolutely. When is that coming out? Did they have a release date for that?
Yeah, October 20th.
Awesome. I'll
Killers
put
of
that in my
the Flower
calendar.
Moon. Right on. And then also, I have a update, that I updated too. Just a little update. Come and Get Your Love, which was done by Redbone, was a Native American rock band, and they reached the top 5 of the U.S. Billboard's top 100 in 1974 with their single "Come and Get Your Love." The single went certified gold, selling over 1 million copies. It's also made Redbone the first Native American band to reach the top 5 in the Billboard Top Hot 100. With the song reaching 5, Redbone achieved hits with the singles "We Were All Wounded at Wounded Knee," "The Witch Queen of New Orleans," and "Maggie" in the United States. Although the singles were more successful overseas. And one of the things about Redbone, if you don't know this, Haley, that group really kind of lost in favor with the record companies, and they stopped promoting them when they were supporting the AIM, American Indian Movement, and were playing at the protests and things like that at the time, and really the downfall of them. And it's funny that song came back. I can't think of the name of the movie, but that was played prominently in that one alien or spaceship movie. I can't remember what the heck that's called, but it was just recent. There's been 3 of them. I'll have to look that up and be more coherent on the radio show. But and there's an interesting YouTube video of Redbone at on the midnight special, and when we only had 3 stations, Haley, many people watched the midnight special, and it came on at midnight or 1 o'clock in the 70s, like I think it was 70 to 81. And oh, Santina, thank you so much. The Guardians of the Galaxy is we have really smart listeners, and we really appreciate you. Yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxy kind of brought that song back, and also there's a YouTube video of Redbone, and they're wearing their regalia singing the song, and it's really cool. And they
Oh.
dance a little bit before that. Uh, they do some drumming, and then they jump right into that song.
Those are that's like Pat Vegas, right? Those are the Vegas brothers, the singers and songwriters for Redbone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
great song,
Yeah, and
great band.
very fun. And to me, I didn't remember that they were Native American until I saw that video again. So shame
Well,
on me. That's crazy.
no, well, my Jaji as well. I actually just found out that they were a Native American rock band as well, because at the Shakopee Powwow, we had the Natives clothing booth was there, and they actually have shirts with Redbone band members. So just a great little reminder.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's pretty cool, and we're still here. We are the 7th generation, right? I mean, we're still doing things here, and we are just excited to be a part of people that well, let me just do this real quick. Yeah, let's give a shout out to Bob Barker, too, who passed away, who was Native American. We'll be right back after the short break with our sacred animal portion with Wendy. See you tomorrow, everyone.
Outfront Minnesota is a driving force behind LGBTQ plus advocacy in our state, and they're gearing up to honor our state's monumental achievements in protecting our LGBTQ plus neighbors. While other states took steps backwards, Minnesota had the greatest advance in LGBTQ plus rights in 10 years. We showed that Minnesota is committed to affirming our values as a state that trusts individuals to make informed decisions about their bodies and lives, while also taking pride in delivering exceptional health care and supporting communities in need. We passed a conversion therapy ban and a trans refuge bill. And now Upfront Minnesota is ready to lead Minnesota towards even a brighter future. To celebrate, Outfront Minnesota is hosting their annual gala, where we bring in together more than 700 guests at Allianz Field on Thursday, September 14th. The event celebrates a year of legislative wins while honoring diverse communities, propelling Minnesota forward into next year. Again, that's Thursday, September 14th at Allianz Field, with a dinner at 6 and party at 8. So come celebrate Minnesota's progress on LGBTQ plus rights and order your tickets at outfront.org.
As we emerge from the shadows of the pandemic, let us celebrate our resilience and embrace the path to a brighter future. While the COVID-19 emergency declaration may be over, our commitment to safety remains stronger than ever. We invite you to stand tall and protect what matters most, our health and the well-being of our loved ones and elders. The power to keep our community safe lies within each one of us. It's important to remember the basics when you're with someone who might be at risk of COVID complications. Wear your mask, wash your hands often, and take an at-home COVID test if you have any symptoms. We are a strong and interconnected community, and together we'll emerge from this challenge stronger than ever. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep the spirit of our Native American culture thriving. Find more tips on continuing to be safe at health.state.mn.us. That's health.state.mn.us.
This message is brought to you in partnership with the Minnesota Department of Health.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations. How? Hey, Kadagi, welcome back. You guys can help protect the wolves at howlingforwolves.org. Again, support the wolves at howlingforwolves.org. We got Wendy Pilot, our humane animal advocate, up from U.S. Humane Society. So why don't we go ahead and take a listen?
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Haley. Hey, everybody. My name is Hanaji Hani. That means cares for them. I was given that name by my Dega Curtis. Curtis goes by Mashke Hanajinga, which means walks on white clouds. I'm a humane policy volunteer leader for the Humane Society of the United States, and I work on animal issues at the local and state level. And it's always my pleasure to do that. At the Humane Society of the United States, we are an organization that helps protect all animals, be a chicken in a factory farm or an elephant in a zoo or in a circus. And what we do is we want policies and laws and ordinances to pass that will keep our animals safe and people safe and the environment safe, and that's what we work on. A lot of people think that the Humane Society of the United States adopts out dogs and cats. We do not do that. We work on policy. The other thing that the Humane Society of the United States does, when asked, they will go to a disaster zone, whether it's a hurricane, a tornado, wildfires. We've had a lot of that going on. If they are asked, they will go and help get animals out of there in safety. And then they will work with local shelters to get animals safe. So that's what the Humane Society of the United States does. Your local Humane Society, that's where the confusion comes because it's almost the same name. So anyway, today I'm going to be talking about fun facts. I know it's Tuesday, so we'll call it Tipsy Tuesday instead of Fun Fact Friday. But we still are at the Minnesota State Fair. So we're going to keep things light. And after the Minnesota State Fair ends on Labor Day, then we're really going to get into the nitty gritty and talk about animals and how we can really go ahead and help them. But for now, we're doing Tipsy Tuesday. I'm on a site. It's called the #Fact Site, Science and Nature. It's 300 random animal facts. It's written by Luke Ward. And this is from July 6th, 2023. We last left off at number 66, and we're working our way backwards. We started at 300, and we're working our way to number 1. So we're going to start here at 66, but let's do 67. That was the last fun fact that we read the last time we did this. 67, most elephants weigh less than the tongue of a blue whale. And if everybody remembers, we talked about the blue whale being the largest mammal on the earth. The flea can jump up to 200 times its own height. This is equal to a man jumping the Empire State Building in New York. That's amazing. Scientists have performed brain surgery on cockroaches. Well, I guess that was for science and not for the cockroach. I'm guessing. I could be wrong. The great horned owl has no sense of smell. That could be a good thing or a bad thing. I have my fun little animals here. I have little Miss Wanda. She's barking if she sees somebody walk past us. And I have little Lucy Lou, our old kitty cat. All right, where did we leave off? A woodpecker can peck 20 times per second. You know, I never saw a woodpecker until I moved here to Minnesota 23 years ago. I never saw them in New York. The kangaroo's ancestors lived in trees. Today, there are 8 different kinds of tree kangaroos. I had no idea about that. I just thought kangaroos hopped around on the ground. Baby horses can walk and run after just a few hours of being born. And I talked about horses before here on Native Roots Radio. And horses are born with a fight or flight response. So that's important for them to be able to run so that the predators don't get them, right? The earliest European images of dogs are found in cave paintings dating back 12,000 years ago in Spain. So the dogs have been around and by man's side for many, many years, and I love that. The Latin name for moose is Alces alces. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but that's the Latin name for moose. I'll probably have to Google that. You know, sometimes what I do is I just go into Google and I'll say how to pronounce something, and it'll tell me how to do it. But hippos can run faster than humans. You might think that they can't because they're so big. Tigers have striped skin as well as their fur. So if you shave a tiger, you will see their stripe in their skin. A dog's shoulder blades are unattached to the rest of the skeleton to allow greater flexibility for running. Hey, Wanda, that's good that you have good flexibility. Our little Wanda, we're not really exactly sure how old she is. She's a rescue. She's a little like 9-pound Shih Tzu, and she has a little bit of arthritis. So she takes medication every day. It's called Rimadyl, and it helps with her arthritis pain, and she gets around really well. We just got back from a nice long walk. One thing, do not ever give your dog any ibuprofen, Advil, anything like that. Dogs cannot metabolize that medication in their body, and they could actually die from it. So you don't want to do that. A cat has 32 muscles in each ear. So you have 64 muscles in your ears, Lucy. Yeah, you could see her ears like flipping around and moving around a lot to hear all the sounds, although she doesn't really hear that well anymore. The dumbest dog in the world is the Afghan hounds. Well, that's sad. I don't think that they should talk about the dumbest dog, because I think, well, maybe they are the dumbest dog. Anyway, cats have lived with people for only 7,000 years. Only, I think 7,000 years is a long time. There is a butterfly in Africa with enough poison in its body to kill 6 cats. A butterfly. I'd like to know what that butterfly looks like. That's terrible. The smell of a skunk can be detected by a human a mile away. I'm going to read that again. The smell of a skunk can be detected by a human a mile away. Yeah, and now that marijuana is legal, you could smell that skunk weed a mile away too, I think. At birth, baby kangaroos are only about an inch long, no bigger than a large water bug or a queen bee. We'll do one or two more here. A grasshopper can leap 20 times the length of its own body. A herd of 60 cows is capable of producing a ton of milk in less than a day. Yes. The blue whale, we were just talking about that. The blue whale weighs as much as 30 elephants and is as long as 3 Greyhound buses. That is the blue whale. That is amazing. Okay, here. An anteater is nearly let me read that again. An anteater is nearly 6 feet long, yet its mouth is only 1 inch wide. So those are some fun facts that we have going on today. Everybody have a great rest of your Minnesota State Fair. And back to you, Robert and Haley.
Thanks, Wendy. We'll be back tomorrow. You're listening to Native Roots Radio.
You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, the most informative source for progressive politics and news in the Twin Cities.